So in the 2021 NBA draft, the New Orleans Pelicans will have the 10th pick. And they're currently coming off a pretty disappointing season where many people thought they would either make the postseason or at least make the play-in tournament, and honestly they didn't even do either. And this is due to the fact that their coach was not that good, and Stan Van Gundy. That's why he got fired, and they probably just weren't talented enough to make the postseason in the first place. I think there's going to be some significant moves made for them in this year's offseason, especially since we heard those little rumors of how Zion doesn't want to be on a losing team, and how his family doesn't think New Orleans is for him. So if the Pelicans have a chance to like someone who could be like a star, or just someone who could help their team out immediately, they have to capitalize on it. So today's video, I'll be discussing the 3 most likely prospects the Pelicans might select in the 2021 draft with their 10th pick. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to give a prediction on who I think the Pelicans will select. But before we get into the video, I just want to say I noticed a lot of you guys have been watching my videos, but you're not subscribed. So if you could just subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. Also, they would just get shared to you more and stuff like that. But anyways, I really appreciate you for watching in the first place. If you could drop a like on this video, I would really appreciate that. Also subscribe to my channel because I post literally every single day, and it would help me reach my goal of 1,500 subscribers, which is what I would really like. Also drop a comment in this video on whether or not you disagree with what I said, but try and do it in a respectful way, and play that intro. The first prospect I think the New Orleans Pelicans could potentially select with the 10th overall pick is James Buckennight out of UConn. Buckennight is a 6'5" shooting guard who is able to score at all 3 levels. He has the ability to attack the rim due to his solid handles, and he also is a high-rising guard who uses his vertical to finish at the rim. He also is a very good rebounder for his height, as he's always attacking the glass. He's also a player who thrives in isolation due to his shiftiness in his handles and things like that. He's also great at creating his own shot off the dribble. He's a decent playmaker who can often find open teammates. He's also a decent defender, mainly due to a 7'1" wingspan. He's also one of the better prospects when it comes to moving off the ball, and he can also shoot the 3 ball at a good level. And in transition, he's a pretty solid player who could finish with some powerful dunks. To discuss some of his weaknesses, it's the fact that at times he gets overconfident and takes too much shots that he shouldn't be taking, and sometimes he can shoot his team out the game. He's also a very skinny defender, so he probably can't guard bigger players coming into the league. He also struggled when it came to not turning the ball over, as he averaged significantly more turnovers than assists. And to be honest, I think there's a decent chance that the Pelicans select Buckennight, because right now at this current moment, they don't have any really good guards on their team that I think will for sure stay for the future. Because at the shooting guard position, which is what Buckennight's gonna play, they have guys like Josh Hart or Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and both those guys are decent, but I don't know if they're starters in the NBA. So there's a chance that the Pelicans might draft Buckennight and hope that he can turn into a really good starter type of player, or maybe even a star, because I think he has that type of potential. And he can also bring some offense to this team and play at a fast pace. There also has been rumors that Lonzo Ball might potentially leave this team due to the fact that the Pelicans are not wanting to offer him a lot of money. So there is a chance that he could leave, and then Buckennight could come in and start immediately, although I doubt it. But I think Buckennight could go to the Pelicans, and I think it's really realistic. The second prospect I think the Pelicans could potentially select with the 10th overall pick is Josh Giddey from Australia. Giddey's a 6'8" point guard, and he's just a very naturally talented point guard. He has a great feel for the game and has tremendously high IQ. He's the kind of player who makes his teammates better, and he's the type of guy who can do a little bit of everything. Apparently, he's a guy who could potentially be like a triple-double threat. He's also one of the better passers in the draft due to his great court vision. He barely misses his teammates when they're open, and he can overly see over the defense due to the fact that he's 6'8". He's also great at running the pick and roll due to the fact that he's great at hitting the big men as well as hitting open shooters. He can attack the basket at a decent level and finish plays at the rim, and he has a solid floater game that he goes to. He also shows promise to be a good spot up shooter, but it's definitely not a strong suit. He's also a pretty smart defender who takes advantage of his length against other guards. He's adept at stealing the ball through passing lanes. To voice some of his weaknesses is the fact that he's not a great athlete at all. because he's not really that quick and he doesn't have that high of a vertical jump. He's also a very skinny player, not really strong at all. He might struggle to create his own shot at the next level due to the fact that his handles aren't really elite enough to where he could create like space, and he's really not athletic, so that's definitely not an advantage. He's also a very inconsistent shooter, even though most of his threes come from spot ups, and he isn't even a good shooter, free throw shooter for his position, which makes me question how good of a shooter he will be in his career. He doesn't really have a pull-up games, and at times he gets really passive to where he won't even shoot the ball. And on defense, he's not good at guarding fast guards at all, and in my opinion, I think there's a decent chance the Pelicans select him as well, due to the fact that he could play either the shooting guard or point guard position, and especially at the shooting guard position, that's their biggest weakness right now. So maybe they would want Giddey to come in and hopefully bring a spark on that position. But in my opinion, Giddey plays best at the point guard position, and as I said, there's a good chance that Lonzo Ball leaves the Pelicans if another team offers him a lot of money. So maybe they would want Giddey to slide in and replace Lonzo, because he is a tall point guard like Lonzo, who can also pass the ball. The thing with him, to me, he seems more of a project. I don't think he's going to come into the NBA and straight be like a good player or dominant or anything like that. And I don't know if the Pelicans would want to wait on that, but if they are willing to, I think there's a good chance he could be worth the wait. So I think there's a decent chance the Pelicans select Giddey 10th overall, and I don't think it would be a bad selection. The third prospect I think the New Orleans Pelicans could potentially select with their 10th overall pick is Corey Kispert from Gonzaga. Kispert's a 6'7", 220-pound forward who could play the small forward or power forward position. He's probably the best shooter in the whole draft. The main reason he's considered such a high prospect is because of his shooting ability, which is definitely something very important. The thing about Kispert is that he's not just a shooter. He's a guy who can attack the rim at a pretty decent level with both hands. He also has a high awareness, as he always cuts to the basket at the right time. He's just a very winning player who gets along with his teammates, and I think the biggest reason for this is due to the fact that he actually did do all 4 years of college, and he's 22 years old, which is a negative and a positive. It's a negative because it's more unlikely that he gets significantly better than what he will be in his rookie season. There's also a positive since I think he can help teams win straight out the gate, and I think the Pelicans kind of need a player like that. He's also a very determined player, and apparently he's a gym rat type of guy, so maybe he can surpass the odds and get even better as his career goes along. He literally shot 44% from 3 in college while attempting 6 of them, so I think it's safe to say he's at worst a top 3 shooter in the draft, but in my opinion he's the best. Some negatives about Kispert is the fact that he's not a great athlete with his quickness or his vertical jump ability, and that could lead to him not being able to get past NBA level defenders. He won't be able to get to the rim and stuff, and maybe he won't even be able to defend NBA level forwards because they're very quick and very athletic. Apparently his lateral quickness is also below average as well. He's also a guy who shoots primarily catch and shoot threes. He's gonna need some talent around him to create open shots for him because he's not gonna do it himself. So basically his negatives is just the fact that there's a decent chance that his athleticism might hold him back from being as good as he can be, and he can't create his own shot. And I think there's a decent chance that the New Orleans Pelicans select him due to the fact that he's a guy who can space the floor. And when you have a team that literally has Zion Williamson on it, who's not an outside threat, a team with Eric Bledsoe, who's on it, not an outside threat, a team with Steven Adams on it, who's not an outside threat, obviously, and they're all in your starting lineup, you're going to need more shooting on your team. And although the Pelicans have some other guys who can hit shots, none of them are elite shooters or anything close to that. And even a guy like Brandon Ingram, he's capable of hitting threes, but he's not some sharpshooter or anything like that. So I think maybe getting the best shooter in the whole draft could be the way to go. He's also older, so he's probably going to be able to shoot well right out the gate, and he's a guy who could bring spacing for Zion, and I think he can actually really benefit from the amount of attention guys like Brandon Ingram and Zion will attract. Hopefully his shooting translates to the NBA, but he literally is the best shooter in the draft, so I think at worst he will be an average shooter out the gate, but I do expect him to be a good one. The thing is, there's a chance that Kispert might be more of a power forward. I already know Zion Williamson plays that position, but hopefully he could play small forward or something. But to conclude the video, if I had to guess who I think the New Orleans Pelicans will select 10th overall. I predict them to select Corey Kispert if he's available, just due to the fact that this team is in some desperate need for more shooting, and I think they realize they need to get more. And then there's a really good chance they do draft him, due to the fact that Kispert probably won't get drafted before the 10th pick. But as a secondary option, I think they would probably select James Buckenheight, due to the fact that he's a scorer who looks like he could maybe be good straight out the gate. And as a third prospect that's more unlikely, I would probably say Josh Giddey, due to the fact that the Pelicans are in a win now mode, and I don't think they want to wait 2, 3, or 4 years to wait till Giddey is actually good, because maybe I'm wrong, like Giddey's gonna be good straight out the gate, but it kind of just looks like he's gonna be a developmental type of player, and I feel like the Pelicans want to make the playoffs next year, and I don't know if he's gonna help them do that. And it's not like they have the number 1 pick or anything like that, so they can afford to try and get a guy who can help them right away. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know who you think the Pelicans are going to draft. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this, and I'll reach my goal of 1,500 subscribers. Comment and zero-star conversation as I do respond to all of my comments, and I'm out.